I wonder what else I could do that would be interesting. Gab? Gab, can I? Huh. Goodbye! Gab? Hey Google, lights on. Oh, so this is where this ended up then. Who pours tea like that? What am I doing? Welcome to Story Time with me, Sped Spedding. Led Zeppelin 4 by Led Zeppelin. Chapter 1. The Masterpiece with the 4 Symbols. With an album at number 1 on the UK, US and Australian charts. Had any band achieved more since the breakup of the Beatles? Yet according to the bigwigs at Atlantic, Led Zeppelin 3 could not, despite its impressive chart performance, be regarded as a commercial success. The third LP had quickly vanished from the charts, possibly because the band's folk rock bent may have rattled fans. Zeppelin needed to get back to a winning formula of the first 2 albums, in which the quartet had established themselves as one of the pioneering bands of hard rock and heavy metal. As a shrewd manager and astute observer of the media, Peter Grant was well aware that absence makes the heart grow fonder. To this end, he kept his protégés away from the television studio and concert stages for months on end. From September the 19th, 1970, the day of the last 2 shows of the 6th American tour at Madison Square Gardens in New York, until March the 5th, 1971, the opening show of the 3rd UK tour at Ulster Hall in Belfast. He even went as far as to turn down an apparently mouth-watering offer of $1 million for a concert in West Germany on New Year's Eve that would be transmitted by satellite to movie theatres across the USA. The reason Grant gave for his refusal? I found out that satellite sound can be affected by snowstorms. The promoters couldn't believe it, but it just wasn't right for us. Hence the question being posed more and more insistently by the British media, and by the melody maker, and the NME in particular. Would Led Zeppelin split up, following a disappointing third album? This is by no means to say that between November 1970 and January 1971, the 4 members of Led Zeppelin were merely biding their time, leaving other artists the task of adding glorious new chapters to the history of rock, while the Rolling Stones were putting the finishing touches on Sticky Fingers, which would be hailed as another masterpiece upon its release in April 1971. The Who and John Lennon were also thinking of follow-ups. Respectively, Jimmy Page, for one, was deeply immersed in creative work. In his house, he had installed an 8-track studio and had started work on a number of songs, notably a sequence of arpeggiated chords that was soon to become the intro of Stairway to Heaven. In quotes, "I had a unit called the New Vista," he explains. "It was the deck that was used to record live at Leeds. I thought it was a fabulous unit, really. When they were trying to get away from valves, one of the things they developed was the Vista and the transistor. The Vista did sound very valvy." Jimmy Page and Robert Plant then went back to Wales, the Bronnior cottage, where they had spent time prior to the session for their previous album. They wrote or applied finishing touches on an assortment of lyrics and compositions, Further decisive stages in the making of the album include Island Studios, Headley Grange, Island Studios again, Sunset Sound, and Island Studios for the third and final time. Whether it's referred to as Four Symbols, So-So, the Runes album, Led Zeppelin 4, or quite simply, Untitled. This fourth album is a brilliant testament to the musical diversity of the quartet. Powerful, virtuoso rock in Black Dog, Misty Mountain Hop, and rock and roll. The ballad of Oldie English in the Battle of Evermore. The ongoing influence of the blues in Four Sticks and When the Levee Breaks. The spirit of the counterculture in Going to California. And perhaps, the most importantly of all, the coming together of folk, hard rock, and progressive rock in Stairway to Heaven. This fourth album is one of superlatives, a musical shockwave. Not merely an important album, but one that has played a crucial part in the history of rock music. An LP that deserves a place alongside Sgt. Pepper's, Exile on Main Street, Electric Ladyland, and Tommy. An album of 8 songs, 4 on each side, in which occultism rubs shoulders with heroic fantasy and romanticism, rock and roll with the ballad, pyrotechnic guitars with incantatory rhythms. Gab, they're using big words again. I don't know what they mean. Hey Google, what does incantatory mean?
Canterbury is used as a noun to mean a low cabinet for holding music or books. Do you want to hear how Canterbury is spelled?
Useless, mate.
Please don't talk to me that way.
Where were we? The whole injected with an ingenious, or perhaps quasi-alchemical admixture of frenzy on the one hand and tranquility on the other. An album, finally, in which blues and folk influences coalesce into a music of new inspiration that would attract countless followers on the rock, heavy metal, stoner rock, garage, and contemporary folk scenes. In short, Four Symbols is the guitar hero in all their flamboyance, at large in the world of Tolkien or Aleister Crowley. The sleeve. The cover illustration depicts a man of rustic appearance carrying a bundle of wood on his bent back, leaning with both hands on a sturdy walking stick. If you look closely, you can make out the face. It is the famous YouTuber, Sped Spedding. That's all it says about the sleeve. Nothing else about the sleeve. Each song has a little section for the Zeppelin addicts out there, so I'm going to read you a little snippet of each one. Black Dog. Watch your honey drip, sings Robert Plant in Black Dog. It was surely an allusion to this song that the singer had named his band he formed in 1981, the Honey Drippers. In '84, Page joined them for the sessions for the Honey Drippers Volume 1, Sea of Love and I Get a Thrill. Speaking of Robert Plant, he called me after a Misty Mountain Hop video. He watched it, he liked it. So he sent me his shirt from Nebworth way back when. He's not washed it. I'm not going to wash it either. But put it straight on. It's comfy. Obviously, he had a lot of money, still does, so he bought nice clothes. Wonder what he'll send me after watching this. Probably get a copyright strike, won't I? Thanks. Track 2, Rock and Roll. On July 13th, '85, Zeppelin performed rock and roll for the first time since the death of John Bonham. They had Phil Collins on drums. The track opened their set at Live Aid, a gigantic concert organised by Bob Geldof that took place simultaneously in London and Philadelphia. I met Bob Geldof when I was working at Six Music. He came in for an interview because he had a new book out. I met him in the lobby. I was assistant producer that day. Came upstairs, And he looked at me and was like, huh, see where you got the inspiration for your hair from? Insinuating that my hair looked like his. If you're watching, Bob, your hair looks like a little bird's nest, mate. Mine is young, brown, luscious. So you can put that comment in your back pocket, mate. The Battle of Evermore. Zeppelin performed the Battle of Evermore rarely on stage, for the first time in Dallas, April 1977, and for the last time in Oakland, July 24th, 1977, with JPJ singing Sandy Denny's part, and when Robert Plant, Jimmy Page performed the song on No Quarter many years later, 1994, the female vocalist part was sung by British singer of Indian ancestry, Namja Akhtar. Closing the A-side, Stairway to Heaven. Other than in the Philippines, Stairway to Heaven has never officially been released as a single. The song has therefore never entered the charts, which is astonishing given its status as one of the everlasting anthems of rock. This changed November the 13th, 2007, when it became possible to download the Zeppelin catalogue. As a result, Stairway to Heaven belatedly achieved #1 in the charts. Opening the second side, it seems probable that in Robert Plant's imagination, Tolkien's Misty Mountains were represented by the mountainous landscapes of Snowdonia. In an interview for Rolling Stone, he claimed to like the Welsh wet climate and weather people run away from, hence the reference at the end of Misty Mountain Hop. And of course, the singer had set up home in Worcestershire, not so very far away from Wales. Also goes on to say that Planty is a massive, massive Wolves fan, and he's probably going to give me a call next week so we can go for a pie and a pint after international break and watch the footy together. Isn't that right, Planty? 4 Sticks. In '72, during a trip to Bombay, Page and Plant recorded a second version of 4 Sticks, and also Friends, with local musicians. Far from convinced by the results, the two members of Zeppelin decided not to release the track on the record before 2015. It can now be enjoyed on CD 3 of the deluxe edition of Coda under the title 4 Hands. Coincidentally, you actually need 4 hands to play some of the riffs that Page wrote. Going to California, which on a day like this, I wish I was. Plant in particular was fascinated by the Laurel Canyon music scene, a fascination that was not exactly reciprocated. In quotes, "The people who lived in Laurel Canyon avoided us," explains the singer. "They kept clear because we were the tackiest part of the Sunset Strip, with the tacky people like Kim Fowler and the GTOs. That was my best Planty impression. I mean, I've got his shirt on, so I'm not going to take the piss too much. When the Levee Breaks. A multitude of artists, including various rap groups, have sampled John Bonham's rhythm part on When the Levee Breaks. Rightly so. These include the Beastie Boys on Rhymin' and Stealin', Cold Cut, Beats and Pieces, and Dr. Dre on Lyrical Gangbang, Chronic, 1992. I mean, I was talking on Patreon about this. It's one of the most badass drum sounds you've ever heard. Pretty sure it was recorded Headley in the stairwell. So you've got that kind of really like trashy, compressed, natural reverb that just makes the drums sound huge. Of course, I could probably read the actual facts of how it was recorded in here, but I can't read, as you've probably figured out. And that concludes story time with Sped Spedding, as I didn't realise just how much there was to read, and I've almost filled up 2 128GB SD cards. Also, I've run out of tea and my vocal cords are very precious because if I damage them, I won't be able to teach and make exceptionally crap jokes. I hope you enjoyed today's video, something a little bit different that I wanted to do to celebrate Led Zeppelin 4 turning 50. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and the bell next to it. Also, consider checking out my lovely ladies' YouTube channel. We call this room the library, so I thought it'd be a fitting place to make this quick little video today. And Gab's out. How lucky am I? I've got a lot of tidying up to do before she gets back. You've probably been wondering why I've got my hat on. Well, 2 reasons. 1, keeps my hair out of my face when I'm reading a lot of words. And 2, well, it holds something very, very secret in there.